Jay-Z released a new music video in conjunction with his album 444. And the song is Moonlight, and the music video is based on Friends, and it's elaborate and awesome. We're gonna take a moment right now and watch it in studio. You should do the same, pause this, come back after you watch it and we'll discuss. Thoughts, 50 minutes or less. Jesus.
I missed the Carmichael show.
Brett, Chandler, Grace, Phoebe, Rachel.
How you doing?
How you
Joey reference. I don't know if you guys all watch it streaming on Netflix. Not important at all. Let's get into it. There's so much to unpack. First of all, for the names of those folks who were playing all the replacements for the recastings of the characters in Friends, Issa Rae is Rachel, Tiffany Haddish is Phoebe, Tessa Thompson is Monica, Jared Carmichael as Ross, Lakeith Stanfield as Chandler, and Lil Ray Howery as Joey. I mean, Jared Carmichael's a star. Gerard. Oh wow. Sorry, I don't watch the show. But he's I haven't seen it. I don't even know what channel it was on.
His show got canceled.
Yeah.
Right, and
Carmichael's show got canceled.
Yeah,
and I've talked about this before. I talked about this just last week when we were
Jared
talking about
Carmichael, what a dick.
When we were talking about Dave Chappelle and his how he dealt with the trans issues and his stand-up, and I was like, please watch the Carmichael show because there are ways I just think Gerard Carmichael is so underrated.
Dude.
And he's so brilliant. He has such a unique and I think empathetic and subversive take on comedy and very current issues. He should be the most relevant comedian right now, and I think that Jay-Z knows that. That's why he used him in such a profound way in this video. But more and more people need to know the names of Tiffany Haddish is another one. She's got to we need to make her a huge she should be a huge star.
She's on her way for sure.
I hope so. I hope so.
The people who are most impressive at just sitcom acting are Tiffany Haddish and Lil Ray Howery. They are just good at that genre, but the people whose eyes you watch and you're like, there's so much more happening beneath that is Issa and Gerard.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
And she's another one. Her show Insecure on HBO.
Yeah.
It's still going, which is great.
Second season started just a couple weeks ago.
It makes me ache for that the Carmichael show is canceled because it were just really interesting takes from so many different perspectives of walks of life that were very authentically represented in the form of a sitcom, which so often diminishes real issues to just be honestly a Big Bang Theory.
I'll tell you what, it ends up having diminished in our eyes now, big issues. But that was the only format for thousands of years, it felt like. And so I watched yesterday, because I'm really cool and with it, I was watching the Golden Girls.
Great show.
Great show.
And the Golden Girls, which gave birth to the comedy careers of many of the showrunners that you know now, whose shows end up really changing everything. A lot of them started on the Golden Girls. They did an episode about AIDS, and they were talking about it. And it might, when you look back on it, be in a really strange way that probably says something about it's a gay people disease, but they're trying really hard. It was really difficult back then to even do that. So I think by now we look at things like The Big Bang Theory and Mom and all of these random ass shows that are still around, and other shows like Louis, Atlanta, all those, you put a comedian in charge and instead of giving him a wife that's hotter than him or making it a him, you just
Kevin can wait.
Right, those ones, the ones that are still around suck.
Right, because you know how good sitcoms have been, could be, and it feels very reductive to see the form just sort of wasted. And that's why it was so refreshing, the Carmichael show was so refreshing, is they were like, we have a really cool opportunity to showcase different generations of people coming at issues from different ways, shapes, and forms in a funny way. And I know some people that were in that writer's room. Actually, Willie Hunter, who was a writer on the show, had been here before.
And
great. Anyway, it just made me ache watching this, that we should have more shows.
So absolutely, Grace, I agree with you. Jay-Z, snaps for Jay-Z for having the foresight to cast these people, these up and coming young black talents that transcend all barriers that anyone can relate to. Back to comedy, back in the 90s, you had shows like Living Single and Living Color, Family Matters, that again touched on a lot of things that were not just happening in the black community, but around the world in general. And the Golden Girls, Brett, is a huge LGBT staple of television because of all the things they touched on. I remember watching the Golden Girls and I saw the episode on AIDS and also about there's drag queens. It was just so ahead of its time. In the 80s, like 84, 86, that was really, really risque television for NBC primetime almost 30 years ago. So the foresight is amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about what's happening in this episode, or what he did here. There's talk about how, specifically, you mentioned Living Single. Living Single came out a year before Friends did. And the president of ABC, or whoever it was in charge of programming, was asked the year before Friends came out, like, if you could have any show out there on your air, what would it be? And he was like, Living Single. And they brought Living Single and they made it literally the whitest show you could ever imagine. Everyone is so white, having such like white ass problems in Manhattan, and end up, and like later they have to explain how Monica and Rachel on like their chef and short order cook salary can afford like this fancy ass apartment. Like my grandmother left it to me, but like it is the whitest ass show in the world, and this is kind of reclaiming that in a way that's just so awesome because it's well done. And then it really goes through like one of the themes of the album, which is like that feeling, or at least the song, which is that feeling afterward, even after you like make the money, you're in Calabasas, and that's weird. And he's been on the show and he's maybe sold out or whatever, but Gerard then opens and ends up in this weird La La Land Moonlight, which isn't even itself what won. I don't even know what to make of that last scene. What do you make of that scene as he's sitting there looking out in the moon and the city of stars in this real nowhere that he steps into? It
feels like, this is what I took from it, is it feels like he's sitting in La La Land, because that scene looks like it's like right out of La La Land, and he's looking up at Moonlight, and that's what I feel like he's like, okay, I'm sitting in this La La Land, but I have my eyes on Moonlight and whatever that sort of symbolizes, but I also don't know.
I don't know either, but wasn't the theme of Jay-Z that Jay-Z was trying to say is that they're stealing our ideas and making money off of our ideas? Wasn't that the way he was trying to say in the song, even after they Lauryn Hill'd us? Because again, I'm with you. I was like, okay, I guess I'm watching something that should be poignant and be making a point, and I'm supposed to be moved by this, but I couldn't quite put my nose on it either. I want to touch on though television though, because throughout the 90s, there were successful black sitcoms that really left their mark, that were ahead of their time as well. Like Sunday nights on Fox. Did you guys? I mean, Grace, did you watch Fox growing up?
We didn't.
Remember like Martin?
Yeah.
Living Color. So
I remember the shit out of Living Color.
Living Color was amazing, and that was another show that really touched on issues that were going on in a comedic way, like gang violence and sex and all these things that were kind of like, oh my God, what are you talking about? But I had to brought them to light because they were funny. Back to what the song is about. I got that Jay-Z was just saying that they've been stealing our ideas and being successful for a long time doing it. That's the only thing I can make from what he was saying. Because sometimes Jay-Z, you're like, what is he saying? You know,
it's hard to see, and this is just, it's such a work of art because I don't hear the music really. Like I'm struggling. I know I should be listening to this song while it's happening, but it's such a visually immersive, and Jay-Z's words are low, and it turns into this ambient sensation. It's happening in the background, echoing through his mind, and you don't even really hear it. But the one line is, "Y'all stuck in La La Land. Even when we win, we gonna lose." There you go. There's Jared Carmichael. We gonna lose. Sorry, I'm so painfully white. We stuck in La La Land. We got the same fucking moves. Yeah. And so it's like you don't even give that moment of victory
to Moonlight. Yeah.
Even when you've done something amazing, people don't remember necessarily that Moonlight won. They remember how bungled the Oscar presentation was. You don't get that moment of victory, and like Gerard in this video doesn't get the moment of victory. He's out there doing what has been painted as the idea of success, which is that sitcom money, which for people outside of Los Angeles like
is big.
That is the sitcom money. That is Jim Parsons now with, young Sheldon gets a cut of that show even though he's not in it because it's based on his character. But getting that money, this is painted to him as the apex of his potential earnings and winning. He goes off and there's Hannibal, who has the cred and the mainstream appeal that he probably hopes for. Just being like, this sucks. So he doesn't get that moment of positive reinforcement anywhere. And he goes off and has to sit there in just this weird ass world that he doesn't feel like he fits into.
Also effective was Jay-Z's using of a nostalgic powerhouse like Friends to deliver this message. You know, it's like using Disney like people are immediately going to attach to it and pay attention to it, because when you see the Friends logo with the 4 dots and it's that whole opening sequence, whether or not you like Friends, I mean, I wasn't a huge Friends fan, but when I see that or anything of its likeness, I'm immediately, there's a nostalgic feeling of must-see Thursday or must-see TV. And so you're immediately gonna watch this. Therefore, more people seeing the messages that Jay-Z's trying to bring forward.
I know someone who's like an actress, and we both agree on this, that the actors in Friends are just the best at that. It's not like the most impressive thing when you watch it, but if you then look at other sitcoms and everything, it's the best sitcom actors all together.
Sure.
Yeah.
They stand toe to toe with really anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tina Fey talks about this in her book, Bossy Pants, where after Friends came out and it was such a huge smash success, even though it was not unprecedented in its style because Living Single did come before it, so many people, studios wanted, okay, what's the next Friends? Let's find Friends. And it was lightning in a bottle. Like you're not gonna find that again, where you're gonna have Jennifer Aniston and
Lisa
Kudrow and
Matt LeBlanc.
There you go.
And Matthew Perry.
Yeah. Lightning in a bottle.
Courtney Cox.
That said, the cast in this video might be able to actually
but not even all
Tina Fey's
not even all
point.
6 of them. Not even all 6 of Phoebe.
Oh,
just was
come on.
generic. I felt like it was a generic.
I would see Tiffany Haddish do pretty much anything.
I do agree with you, Brett. It wasn't like her Phoebe was like anyone could have played that.
We
But
only
wait.
saw snippets.
Was Tiffany Haddish Phoebe?
Tiffany
Haddish
Haddish
was
was
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Oh.
I do think that in the article they state that if Living Single had been on NBC and had the power of the studio behind it to make it, it would have been a bigger success, because it was fairly successful on Fox. I mean, and even in its reruns on Centric and in syndication, I mean, I love Living Single. Regine, Khadijah, great show.
Queen Latifah.
Yeah, well, she was Khadijah.
Okay.
I just feel bad.
I don't know.
We should have a
the
Living
names.
Single marathon. I think it's
Never
on
seen the show.
the box. But I think if they were to do, you've never seen the show?
Never seen. I've seen trailers in preparation for this.
Dude,
story.
the intro with Big Les dancing, that
I
one
called
move
him
she does in the
Jared
beginning
Carmichael.
was amazing. But if they had this cast of talented actors doing a sitcom in 2017, it would be a huge success, only because now we want that. And
It's a mix of that nostalgia and
for sure.
If
But
the
I want to
studio was
see
behind it.
right.
I want to see the show. Like I want to see Hannibal Buress as his best friend and how he interacts with that experience of being on the big sitcom and then afterwards. And I know that's Extra and that's stolen from the UK, Extras, which he ends up getting a big sitcom. I don't know, but it's really awesome. It's just so amazing to watch. I think the subversion that television in this medium is able to provide is just super duper impressive. I say if you haven't watched the video, go back and watch it. It's absolutely amazing.